darkness, I found my light. With Jesus by my side, I conquer every fight. Walking in faith, I won't be afraid. His love surrounds me, my fears will fade. Hope is my anchor, love is my guide. With Jesus I'll overcome, I'll never hide. A warrior of strength, in His name I rise. In a world of chaos, His love never dies.
She's an award-winning author, speaker, owner of GodlyGranny.com, and podcast host, sharing the truth with you. This is the Michelle Moore Show.
Hi, everybody. So glad that you're with us today. It's Monday, July the 6th, which means we're into the second half of the year. It's crazy. It's like I blinked and we're already halfway done with 2026. It's crazy. Okay, so we got Steve Jarvis here with us today. I'm very excited about that. For those of you that don't know, he's a fifth-generation farmer, and he is an ex-Maha member. He just spoke in D.C. on Wednesday, and he's gonna unpack that, y'all. A lot happened. So I'm very excited. We've been in show prep, and I had all different kinds of questions for him and things that it's so good. Y'all are going to be so interested in today's show. I promise you, he's bringing it for sure. But first, I want to tell you a couple of things. So tomorrow, Jack and Margie Flynn are going to be here. You know, they're constitutionalists. There they are. They're going to be here tomorrow with us. And they're going to be talking about something that they've been working really hard on lately, which has to do with data centers. And then we're going to talk about flock cameras. We're going to talk about people getting thrown out of these, different kind of town meetings and things that have to do with the data centers or just whatever, when they fight against something that's going on with school boards and all these different things. People are like getting shut down and being thrown out or arrested in some cases. And we're going to find out from Jack and Margie, like, what is constitutional and what's not, and what is really going on here. So I got questions, and they'll have the answers. And so I'm really excited about them being here tomorrow. The next thing I want to talk with you about is, gosh, we have so much to go over, y'all. Okay, so the Godly Granny sale is still going on. It's 20% off all your goodies, your Godly Granny goodies, through tomorrow night, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. Such a pretty image. Producer Ron did that. So we just want to remind you, it's off your entire order, which is, we don't do this, but I don't know, once or twice a year. It's usually Granny's birthday. I don't even know if we do 20% off for my birthday. Maybe we do. I don't know. Michelle Aganza, maybe we do. I'd have to ask producer Ron. Okay, and then our open show, our song, Love Never Dies. So we have what you would call a lyric video. And so we're going to play that at the end of today's show. That's finally done. I'm very excited about it. We finally found the right person to do it. It's gorgeous. And it will give you the entire song. So that way you can hear the whole thing. Right now, you just hear a little small, 20-second clip. And so otherwise it'd be a long open. And so we're trying not to do that. So we took maybe like a 25-second clip of the song. And so it's such a pretty song. And now you get to hear the whole thing. So we'll end it today with the show with that song. So just in its entirety, so you can hear the whole thing. And you got to tell me what you think. I can't wait to hear. And then Friday, it's going to be new releases. Godly Granny got 18 new releases. 18. I called Eve today about a product that I was so excited about. Well, I'm really excited about it, all of them. But one of them is a bar soap, and it has DMAE in it, which, DMAE is in the Samson's Mane products, which helps your eyelashes and your eyebrows to grow. Well, you can do the math. And all our bar soaps that we do and our scrubs, you can always use in your hair, right? Well, so that means you can use our shampoo, our little beauty bar soap also, that you could put in your hair and it will help your hair grow. See, it's got all that DMAE in it. So, and it will still tighten your face because it's part of the high and tight line. We're finally coming out with a bar soap, but it just happens to be like you can just, use it on your hair and all kinds of stuff. Talk about giving you more for your money. So excited about this beauty bar soap that's coming out on Friday. So if you love high and tight, if you know, you know. And so, but if you understand DMAE, you know, right? And so just wanted to make sure that you knew about Friday's releases. It's going to be exciting. Okay, now, before we move on and bring Steve in, one of the things I wanted to share with you is sometimes what happens is we have people on the show and you become friends with them, or, and I say you as in me. I spend a lot of time with them talking about just different things, depending on what their experiences are, depending on the purpose for them, what they're focused on in their lives. And usually that's why they're on the show. So, many of you probably heard already about Linda Bammer's passing. Linda and I had a really big connection from the very get-go. And there were times that maybe I called her about a question that I received regarding the Wave Watch. And, for those of you that don't know, Linda Bammer was the founder of Wave Watch. She had a great godly story behind even the idea of it and how it came to be and what she was doing. And I really connected with Linda. She was obviously not just, we both had two sons. She was not only a believer, but she also was a businesswoman. And, God had given her this assignment. And I know I have an assignment. And we're both trying to walk in our purpose. And it was just, we had become very close. And so, obviously there's just been a lot of loss. Right before we went on our week hiatus of not doing the show, I lost another friend as well. So I've lost like 5 people in about 2 months. And as many of you know, viewer Natalie was a really hard loss for me. And then Sean, I talked about as well, committed suicide. And so it's been very difficult kind of getting through all of that. And then other friends as well. So anyways, so then with Linda's passing, it just, I needed some time. And so we honor Linda. We'll continue to be, of course, I have a great relationship with her sons. They're wonderful. And I think that I look back at the conversations that she and I had before they came to work for the company, and she and I talked about their backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. And it was just so great because, it was like they were made to run the company. And so it was just, I guess, really meant to be. God knew, right? And so anyway, so I just wanted to share that and tell you that, at the end of the day, we'll continue to be connected with them. In fact, Beauty Boot Camp, Godly Granny Beauty Boot Camp, that happens Saturday, October the 3rd, September, October. They'll be a sponsor. They're going to be a part of that show. I mean, the conference boot camp, I would like to call it a boot camp, but they're going to be part of that. And, we're really excited. And in fact, we'll be giving a Wave Watch away that day. And so I'm very excited about the things that are being planned for the attendees, the ladies that'll be there at Godly Granny Beauty Boot Camp. I knew Linda was probably not going to be here much longer, even though we were believing for a miracle. And so that has been the delay for the details and ticket sales and all of that for the Godly Granny Beauty Boot Camp. I was quietly putting that off and waiting to give even the sons just time with their mother instead of talking with them and working out the details with the beauty boot camp. And so for those of you that have been wondering, why aren't the tickets for sale and what's going on? That's what was going on. They're aware of it. They knew. And we will be releasing ticket sales very shortly. And so maybe as quickly as Friday. I don't know yet. We'll see. But we probably won't be releasing a lot of details about the boot camp either, because I like surprises. I like surprising people. And so we'll see. But everybody knows Eve is going to be there. Jocelyn will be there, which is Godly Granny's esthetician, who is also my future daughter-in-law. In the next 2 months, she'll be married to my son, and we're very excited about that. But she has really been helping me quite a bit when it comes to some decisions with Godly Granny and educating and helping you guys know about all of her gods of things. I'm so excited. So that's her passion, and she's really great at that. So y'all are going to love her. Y'all are just going to love her. And so when you come to the beauty boot camp, But anyways, so I just wanted to share that with you. And I think that's everything. Just, keep her family and the people that work at Wave Watch in your prayers, please. They're going to be doing some kind of a service, memorial, get together, celebration of life at the end of July, and I'll be attending that. And so is the plan. And so, we'll kind of address that as it comes. But Linda definitely, as producer Ron so eloquently said, she left an imprint. And I don't really like the word legacy, especially since Obama. And like, I'm not looking to leave a legacy, but I am looking for tangible things that I can accomplish, for God and the plans and purposes for my life. And I think that's exactly what Linda did. She made a big difference in a lot of people's lives with the Wave Watch, and also her work with the breast center. And so she had other things that she did that she made a big difference in a lot of people's lives. Many of you have been emailing me, leaving social media comments also on our post talking about Linda's passing and sharing about how she changed your life with the Wave Watch. And it's just really blessed me, those of you that have shared that you found out about it through the Michelle Moore Show and how it has changed and impacted your health and your quality of life. And so that's really blessed me. And we'll continue to do that. We will continue to make a difference in people's lives and making sure that they know about the Wave Watch and that they get the help that they want. Let's look at a couple of comments here. So, oh yes, Asiago said, want to hear everything he learned about in DC. It would be nice to know more about his first proposal made to them. We're going to find out what happened. KM Sunshine said, I'm excited about today's show. I am too. Christ Believer says, will her sons continue on? Absolutely. And that's the great thing, is they've been there and they're actually like crazy qualified to continue things on, like crazy stuff for their background. So they're absolutely perfect for it. Christ Believer says, looking forward to boot camp. It's going to be fun. Y'all aren't even going to believe what's planned. It's just exciting. And y'all ought to see the space. It's gorgeous. So let's see here. Asiago says, very sad about Linda and for you losing her. I lost someone close to like that to me recently and my heart aches. Yeah. And it is, it's just, and I had just had that happen, 10 days earlier with another friend from real estate, and she'd attended my classes and we were just friends. She'd been in my home a few times, and we, her husband and myself and my husband, we'd all, gone to dinner and spent time together, have a lot of mutual friends. And so I really felt like the beginning of our vacation, I kind of grieved all that. And so I think what's going on here is we're experiencing what we were told we were going to experience in 5 to 7 years. Well, it's been 5 to 7 years. And I got a bad feeling that's what's really going on here. There's an awful lot of people getting cancer, and it's just crazy. So Terry says, I received my first Godly Granny order this afternoon. Oh, my Lanta. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, my Lanta. The beautiful smells coming from these products are just heavenly. I know y'all don't even tell me about how good your workplace smells, because when I go to the Granny Shack, Braylon was telling me the other day, we had a guy there. Oh, it was an AC guy. That's a whole thing. And so he was like, what is it y'all do here? This is amazing in here. This smells great. And so she was telling me about how he said how great everything smells. I was like, nobody's workplace smells as great as ours. It does smell amazing. And try walking past the goat milk section. Just try without going, what did I just get a whiff of? It happens to me all the time. Anyways, okay. Have you ever thought about goat milk and black raspberry vanilla? This Friday, y'all, I'm spilling some beans. Okay, Grammy says all is in God's timing. Linda is on the next stage of her journey, which is so true. Now my Wave Watch is even more special. Yes, that's so good. Thank you, Grammy. Okay, so Steve Jarvis, y'all. You just prepare yourself. It's going to be a show. One of the things I've asked him is, we talked through in show prep about 7 things that he took away from DC. What did he learn that he didn't know? And they are all equally amazing things, very informative. So let's go on ahead and bring Maha member and fifth generation farmer in, and of course, speaker in DC. So tell us, I mean, are you glad you went? First and foremost, are you glad you went, Steve?
I am glad I went. And what I want to say is the comments on my Instagram page before I was going to go, 50% said, well, it's just cheaper for them to fly you to DC to arrest you there than to swat you out in the wilderness. So listen, folks, I didn't get swatted and I didn't wind up in the bone pile. So here I am.
All right, looking healthy and more informed and educated. So okay, so you flew in. This was so interesting, y'all. So he flew in 4:30 Tuesday evening, which was June the 30th, and come to find out, you had something to attend right away. It was the debut for the premiere for Duty to Disobey, which is a documentary that's coming out. Tell us about this documentary and what happened. Set the stage. Who'd you see? What tell us all about it.
Well, what's really interesting, I mean, I had no idea that was, I mean, they said we're doing a documentary. It's about vaccines, it's about military. And I didn't know. And I was in there when I watched it and I listened to people that former military, some of them are still in the Pentagon. There were people from Space Force there. There were all, there. And it just blew me away of what's been going on in our military. And I don't have to probably tell most of your listeners, but it blew me away about the vaccine injuries and the vaccines and things like that. Now, Pete Hegseth has, not made it mandatory on the vaccines, but listen, the stuff that has happened, folks, it's frightening, actually.
Okay, so with Duty to Disobey, does any of the movie get into some of the different ways that people were hurt or pressured into taking it? Okay.
Yeah, it goes through all of it. And the thing about it is see, the Duty to Disobey, what the kind of the meat of the thing is that you can't use military service members as lab rats, even though they signed up, and put their name on the dotted line in order to serve our country. And yes, they take orders and they do. You listen, the military doesn't work without orders, but on a lot of these things, and I will tell you that I met guys and ladies that are just tough as nails that have been through this. And,
okay.
Well, and what I want to say is too, one of the big takeaways is Feds for Freedom is a new movement that they've established. And one of the things they're doing is helping military people who got kicked out of the military for not taking the vaccine, the COVID vax. You now can, if you contact Feds for Freedom, you can look them up. Just Google search Feds for Freedom. One of the things they're doing is helping you get reconnected. So you can get your back pay and all the things that you did. No, you don't have to go back into the military, but you can get restored back to where you were. It's like you never left the military, which was a great thing. It's one of the great takeaways I had of going. And that was just when I just landed in DC.
Okay, that's great. All right, so you met a lot of people. You got to speak to hear a lot of things that people had to say, different perspectives, all that kind of stuff. And I really want to start, Steve, with the 7 takeaways from your DC trip, because I think if we kind of talk through that, it'll really help people to understand, through those stories and the depth of each one, what it looked like for you. So the first one, when it comes to your takeaways from going to DC, you say has to do with Dr. Malone and something that he said that it turned out that you and Brian Massard had in common with him. Would you share that?
Yes. So I spoke about 10:30 in the morning, and then Dr. Malone, he kind of ended the game like at 4:30. He spoke for probably his panel of group of guys spoke. And one of the things that Dr. Malone said in that, and he said, anybody that was in Maha that had a plan or had a way forward or knew what to do, they were all sidelined last fall. And it just blew me away that this was coming out of Dr. Malone's mouth, because, I was sidelined. Brian Massard was sidelined. He was RFK's ranch advisor, but Dr. Malone was sidelined as well. And I didn't know that. So all these people were sidelined that were actually I would say that all of us, we were the leaders of saying, hey, this is the right path to take. And they took all of us out. They sidelined us. It was a great speech, actually.
Mm. And so that was interesting that the two of you got to connect. I know that you spent some time with him and you were able to talk about that. And I'm glad that that happened. Okay, when we talk about, before we move on, is there anything you want to share, anything additional about your time with him or anything that he said when we talk about Dr. Malone?
So I got to visit with Dr. Malone, him and his wife. Man, they're great people. Some people say Dr. Malone's, bad. Some say he's good. But I tell you, I met him. I met him and his wife, and really down to earth, really great people. I was sharing with him about my farm plan that I had introduced to RFK. RFK came to my farm, and basically what the book that's coming out by Dr. Malone in the fall is the title I don't think is finally finished, but it's like the 18 months of Maha or whatever. So what I wrote, Dr. Malone asked me to write, would I write something to go in his book? So what I did is I wrote the life and death of Maha in 18 months from the agricultural standpoint of view and making America healthy again. So I told the truth, and that's going to be in Dr. Malone's new book.
So everybody knows I've read what Steve wrote. It's absolutely excellent. And I'm really proud of you. You did a good job.
Well, okay. My English, my 12th grade English teacher is shocked too. So it's fun.
Well, I'm not shocked. I'm just proud of you.
Listen, folks, I don't use ChatGPT because if you write something, run it through ChatGPT, it just takes the soul out of it. It just makes it robotic. Mm-hmm. But I do have a great business partner in Tennessee, actually, near Nashville, and so she says, this is just all a run-on sentence. I said, I know, I'm calling you.
All right. So let's go back to your seven takeaways from DC. So what's number 2?
You're not going to legislate your way out of this. Everybody there, they're big, everybody's connected. Everybody knows they're in different parts of the government or have been, but we're not going to legislate our way out of what is happening in the United States of America. We're just not going to do it. And so it doesn't matter.
What do they say we can do, though? If you can't legislate your way out of it, what do they say that is the answer?
Well, they didn't give a complete plan on what they're doing. The stuff they're doing is in the national intelligence stuff. So, they weren't telling me like a lot of stuff they're doing behind the scenes. But I mean, one thing that they're doing is restoring some of this medical money, right? And medical and retirement. Some of these guys had 17 years in the military.
Some of the military, yeah.
Right. And they got canned. I mean, this is one thing they're doing. This is huge. Feds for Freedom is doing that, and they're connected with the people that do that. So that is huge, because if you're a military person, you're like, man, military calls me. I'm like, I'm hanging the phone up. Well, you shouldn't if you connect with this, because you probably would get your full retirement and back pay.
Yeah.
So that's a huge that's a huge thing that they are doing. But the plan that I offered, so my new farm plan, what I'm doing. So Michelle, when I came on board with you last summer, early on, I'd written a plan to create 250,000 new farms every year, and it'd be 1 million farms by the time the Trump administration left office. And none of that happened. President Trump didn't do it. RFK didn't do it. Not USDA, Brooke Rollins didn't do it. None of that happened. So what I have to tell everybody is we're twice as bad off now as we were 1 year ago. So, I mean, I spoke in DC twice there, May and July of last year. And then I was back. So, my plan was $375 billion last year. Now it takes $700 billion to correct it. And so I introduced my new plan, and my new plan is I've started a new 501c3. It's OOTW3D.org. You can go there. We're going to pay farms off. That's where we are now. Starting a new farm is very hard right now. So we got to save the farms because we're going to lose 140,000 farms this year.
It's insane. Okay. Did you meet anybody, though, that you felt like were possible donors to the plan that you have?
Yes, I did. And listen, and people that have a lot of money, that they have to and I'll tell you, the people that I talk to, they do realize that we're going to lose America, and they do realize that agriculture, I do believe that my nonprofit that I just started, I do believe it should be the most important, because if you lose your agriculture sector of your country, what else are you going to do? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of nonprofits out there that are great, but if you lose your farms and you lose your food, well, then they can control everything.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And,
What's number 3 takeaway? Oh, go on.
no, and these people that have a lot of money, they're great people, they're great patriots, and they realize this, and they are excited about my new farm plan.
Well, one of the things that you had said to me too, that with some of these people that you met, was that they really kind of got ixnayed on, they spent money with Maha or they spent money on MAGA, and they ended up realizing that their money is not going like they thought it would be.
Yes, and I'm just going to say this on your show, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The word is behind the scenes that Maha incorporated itself early on in the movement of Maha, and it's under Maha Institute, Maha
Mm-hmm.
Films, and
Yes.
Maha Action. And my understanding is that they have a boatload of money, and so they were making money off all the stuff. And what I want to tell everybody is this is the first time that I ever was paid to go to Washington, D.C. and speak. Now, some of your viewers bought from my school, people did things like that, and that's how I paid for my trips before. So I was paid $2,500 for this trip, and I just figured the bill on it. It was $2,005. That's what I spent to get there. Airfare, motel, and a bottle of water is $7, and an Uber or a taxi is $40. I mean, everything's expensive. So what I want to say to you is it made me angry. And I called Brian Massard and said, Brian, we've been pumping our own nickel to go to DC and do all this stuff, and Maha's been banking cash. And so in the wealthy people that don't know this, you need to know this, that they are just taking your donations and banking it for their own gain.
So what are, like, who is they? Who owns the Maha Institute? I have seen that in different places. I've seen Maha Institute.
I don't know, but I know RFK is connected to it.
Okay.
I mean, some of your viewers should figure. Some of your viewers are probably smart enough. I don't have the time to dig into all this, and but I'm just saying that something stinks, and something stinks, and it does, because there's a ton of money and all that, and that's what they're doing. They bankrolled a bunch of money, and we paid our way in order to really make change, and maybe they never meant to make change in the first place.
I thought it was interesting, though, because, with the whole Dr. Malone thing, one of the things that it seems so clear to me is, you've been saying Maha's dead for months. And he was saying, 18 months ago, they sidelined me and anybody who had a real plan and who wanted to make real change. And you're like, wait a minute, that's us, Brian Massard and me. And so, but here's what I don't understand. Then why would RFK Jr. come to your farm? Why would he do all that? Why have Brian Massard as his advisor on agriculture? Why even do all that? Why have the meetings and come and see you? Why even do it?
Well, it has to be the greatest psyop in American history, and that's the issue. I do believe that probably 75 to 80% of the real people in Maha are really, really good people, and I do believe they have a desire to want change, whether it's vaccines or food or whatever it is. But they need us, don't they? I mean, if you're playing ping pong with the American people, you got to have good and the bad, because if you just on one side just saying, we're going to do this and y'all just screw off, and then no, it doesn't work out that way. But the ping pong
now,
go ahead.
No, sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you. No,
you're good. I'm just saying that, like, I really believe that RFK was going to do something, and there's no excuses anymore. Okay. And I was going to tell you, all your people, if anybody's name has .gov outside, they're not doing anything. So now we have to do it ourselves.
You said there was one thing that's very consistently coming up when you were there in DC. And you said that everybody, even these military guys, are talking about how Trump looks different, acts different. Something's off. Something's very wrong. Something is going on.
And not only just him, but they're saying everybody's different. So I don't know if they got the Neuralink chip or what they got, but everybody's different. They're not doing anything for the American people. Nothing. I mean, it's technocracies. I mean, Peter Thiel's running the country. Sorry, that and them, and just see who Peter Thiel's connected to. That's all you have to do.
Okay, very interesting. But you're saying even the military guys, these Pentagon guys are talking about it, that they're openly discussing how something's wrong.
Something's
Okay,
wrong.
just want to make sure. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, New Hampshire NH Mama says, how will we ever know who is good and who is evil? It's so frustrating. Well, here's what I have said. I finally came, first of all, I felt like the Holy Spirit was showing me that I wasn't called to try to figure out who was good and who was evil and all of that and who's good, who's bad. I think what we have to do is we have to focus on what we can do. How can we make a difference and tangibly make a difference? And that's really what you said with your number 2, when you said we're not going to legislate our way out of this. So, okay, what are we going to do? What can we do? Everybody has different things that they can do. And so somebody's going to be able to grow food for their area and be able to sell it at the local farmer's market. Somebody's going to be able to do, me, like producing clean products for your skin. That's a whole nother thing that Steve and I were talking about earlier, a little while ago, is you met a guy that he the founder, the president? What's his position again with Revlon?
Well, a guy just told me that John Pearl was the owner of Revlon, and they've been putting junk in the makeup ladies.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
that's very bad for you for a long time. It's not. It's like it's all areas. And here's what I want to say to your viewers, and this would be a great clip for Ron to take out. I take out and put on Instagram, not completely take out.
Yeah, we know.
I want to say this. The creator of the universe woke me up on November the 9th. He told me to write a farm plan, told me to go to DC, told me to do all these things. And here's why I believe. The reason is because now you're taking a hillbilly like me. You got Brian Massard. You have Dr. Malone. You have all these really, really good people. Dr. Ryan Cole. You have all these really, really good people who gave them all the ways to go forward and make this America great again and make this nation healthy again. And they didn't. And I'm glad that I did everything. And if I was to do it over again, I would do it exactly the same. Okay? Because I was being obedient. So what this does, people say, well, who can I trust? Well, I tell you, you can trust. You can trust me. You can trust Dr. Malone. You can trust Brian Massard. There's a lot of us you can trust. And realize that we gave it our full go in order to change this nation. And this is your pivot. This is the pivotal point in history. This is your 1776. We have to go another way now. No. Should we take up arms and say we're doing a revolution? No, it's the wrong way. I'm giving you a way, and we must fix agriculture. And that's why I've started this nonprofit, in order to start paying off farms, because that is the way to go forward. Because if we don't pay them off, and $1 trillion is given in, because they said, Steve, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money you're talking about. And I want to, when we get through these 7 points, I want to share with everybody the word that I got from the Lord the morning before I spoke. So let's go finish up the 7.
All right. So what was your third takeaway by going to DC?
The vaccines that and what is really the damage that's been done to young soldiers is, that was, I couldn't believe, all the injuries and all the stuff. And listen, folks, the data is wrong. The data that you can see is false.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we know that the VAERS data, even about SIDS, has been wrong and doctored for decades. I mean, all of that is a lie. Sure. And so we reported that 2 years ago, just about SIDS, that there's really no such thing as SIDS. A baby does not just suddenly stop breathing unless it's just been to the doctor within the previous 48 to 36 hours. But VAERS doesn't even, which stands for vaccine accident injury, I forget, but it's a reporting system that they're supposed to keep. And it's my understanding that it might have 1% of the vaccine injuries when it comes to what's going on here in our country, including SIDS. A lot of this has been squelched and manipulated and covered up, and lies, just nothing but lies, endless lies to the American people. And so it's just a fact. We've done this a couple of times now, I think 2 to 3 times now, about SIDS, and the proof. We've shown the proof. We have it. We can do it again. But I'm telling you, it was shocking. I literally gasped when I realized that SIDS was vaccine injury. Okay, so I just want to go back to, we're talking about the military. I just wonder, while you're simultaneously doing this to the military, which, by the way, we've been doing this for years too. We've been doing this for decades, using them as little, lab rats. Okay. When you do your history, you'll find out all through history that they shot up our military with all different kinds of things through the years. And it's absolutely appalling what they've done to the men in our country. But okay, then you've got, at the same time, you're letting in all of these illegals who have no interest in assimilating. And so this is another issue. And I don't think what they're doing to the military is by accident. They knew. They absolutely knew. Just like they knew with the protocols, they were gonna drown people in their own fluids by using the protocol. And it's absolutely appalling. None of this is by accident. And so when I hear about this damage, and when they kicked people out and all these different things, we know the military, there were members that tried to use religious exemptions, and that wasn't accepted either. We were supposed to have these rights that they just threw, out the window, and we were left standing with no protection.
Mm-hmm.
And that's everybody.
And folks, let's face it, President Trump did warp speed. If it was Joe Biden, I'd say it was Joe Biden, but it wasn't him.
Yeah. All right, the next one. So when we talk about the takeaways from DC, what was number 4?
So the whisper behind the scenes is that MAGA has been instructed. The people that are left in MAGA in the leadership have been instructed to finish off and destroy the Maha movement and the Maha people.
Well, it looks like to me, Steve, and you tell me if it looks different for you. It looks like to me it's been cut off at the knees anyways. You've been saying it's dead. I'm trying to be nice by saying at least it's just cut off at the knees. But what is something tangible that's actually happened with Maha? This is something that I've been saying. It's a bunch of nothing burgers that they've been announcing. Oh, but there's 25 or 24 shots that are now not required. But you still got the wolves in charge of the sheep. When the uneducated young mama comes in with their baby for their well check visit and going to get 3 shots in one visit, which happens all the time, just in case you didn't know, sometimes they give you 3 shots, like 3 pokes with 3 different needles, but there's a total of 5 different shots that you get, by the way, because they can combine different things and needles as well in one shot. So just so you're aware. So sometimes you get vaccinated against 5 things with 3 shots. And so it's a complete insanity is what just crazy. But the fact of the matter is, if you know that something, for example, causes autism, then why is it even allowed? So just because it's not required, is the pediatrician telling the mama that it's not required? No, because their bonus structure is based off of that. And
That's
they're
right.
bullying and saying, you know what, how many videos have we shown here on the Michelle Moore Show too, by the way, that have shown where doctors are turning in moms and dads for not going along with the schedule, the vaccine schedule, and saying, well, I'm going to report you, so now all of a sudden parents are on the defensive, and because they're not or pediatrician says, if you're not going to do the vaccine shots, the schedule, you're out, find a different pediatrician. Well, why do you think they're doing that? They're not doing it because, they're just so passionate about the schedule. They're doing it because their bonuses rely on it. They have to have a certain percentage, almost 100%, but they have to have a certain percentage of the patients that they have in line with the schedule, or they don't get the 6-7 figure bonuses. So just so you know, I've been watching Dr. Mary Bowden, and she has estimated, that she would have at least $3 or $4 million in the bank if she would have just gone along with the whole, FOVID stuff and not talked about ivermectin. Okay, so we're talking about your takeaways. You've shared the first 4. So what's number 5?
And number 5, 6, and 7 are kind of all wrapped up in the same kind of thing, because what we talk about is, if the American people really knew what was going on, that you can't do this thing, many things. In all these departments, and there are good people. I want to tell y'all that there are good people everywhere, and they are in the fight in order to restore America and do things right. And that's the people that you need to trust. If it's got GOV out the side of it, I talked about the reinstatement of military. Listen, if you're a military veteran, this is so important. If you're a military veteran and you got kicked out of the military for not taking the COVID vaccine, bro, you can get all your money back. Go get your money back. No, you don't have to re-enlist, but you can go back being reinstated. It's just like the day you left. Get your money, get all your back pay, get all your stuff, maybe even get your retirement. And then, the people in high places, these are people that, these are intelligence agencies and stuff. There's some really good people in there, folks. So let's don't lose hope. And that's one of the things that I've noticed, even since I've gotten back from DC. And this is part of the propaganda thing, Michelle. You and I've talked about this. The thing is to drain you from having hope. And, if you get depressed and you say, well, it's all going to burn to the ground, it's not going to be good. We cannot develop that mindset as the American people, because we can win this. And I'm not here to take sides anymore. I'm here to take over.
I think the thing about it, Steve, is this is why I'm always trying to point people to Jesus, because you have to keep that. I mean, it's easy to lose hope if you look at things in the natural. And that's why we're always talking about your book about joy. We're trying to give people the tools, to be able to have the long-standing hope, because he is the hope, he is the truth. And so we know that he's got a plan, and that, I always say, well, God's the one that's sovereign. And so what he says goes, and we got to pray to move him, and we have to be, working and doing the things that we're drawn and called to do.
And I'll say this, Michelle, it'd be easy for me to look back on all the energy and time I've spent. I literally sometimes I was spending 13 hours a day, 7 days a week for no pay, So, but I want to tell people why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay. So everybody should get a pen and paper out, because this is very important, because this has to do with you as an American. And I want to, why do I do what I do? I want everybody needs to write this verse down. Is Genesis 8:22. This is so important to go back to the word. Michelle's talking about Jesus is what the main thing is, and this is important. But Genesis 8:22 says that I hold this verse dear to me. While earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer, and day and night shall not cease. Folks, listen. I know that, I've been in the chemtrail, geoengineering. I know all that stuff. And stop sending me videos on my Instagram about it, because I know everything that's going on. Okay. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to point you in the right direction of what you personally need to do for this movement, this reformation that needs to take place in America. And if you don't get Genesis 8:22 down, that seed time and harvest is always going to be, then you're not going to sow a seed of any kind, especially food. So I'm planted. Yeah. They may flood things, may burn things, they may destroy some crops, but no, seed time and harvest is always there. Proverbs 18:21. This is the word. God gave me this word. When I got up that morning at 7:00, God spoke to me and said, he spoke this verse into me exactly the way, but I had been quoting this verse wrong my entire life. And I've been quoting this verse out of Proverbs 18:21. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat the fruit, eat the fruit thereof. I've been quoting that life and death, and God corrected me that morning before I went in there. He says, death and life is in the power of the tongue. It's not life and death. And he said, you're going to go in there and you're going to do this. And I'm going to say this to your viewers. I'm fixing to tell you how much money I need. And what are you going to do? What is the thought? What are you going to say after I tell you how much money I need? What about you getting in this movement? What about you sharing? Maybe you don't have any money, but you won't share. You won't like, share, and paste the videos. You won't do it. But you say you don't have any money, but you speak death. And the reason death is first, because it's God said to me, he said, you're going to go in there. You're going to share with them that you need $700 billion. And you need to share this verse first, because death and life is in the power of the tongue. And death is first, because it's so much easier to speak death than it is to speak life. Come on, folks. You know it's the truth. And listen, you skip church. This is a great service. Anyway,
that's right. Oh, my goodness.
You need to pray. You need to pray that people's eyes are open. You need to realize $1 trillion is just donated in the church system alone. Forget the government and what you do on your taxes and everything else. And one more thing, okay? You personally need to write down a plan, a 5-month, 2-year, 5-year, 10-year life plan. Joy is key. Be thankful. Pray without ceasing. Present yourselves as a living sacrifice. Don't be immoral. These are the will of God, and it's left up to you. Ecclesiastes 4, God gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy to those who please him. And he who does not, Ecclesiastes 11:4, he who watches the wind will not sow, and he who watches the clouds will not reap. Amen.
Amen. Okay, so that's so good. Before we move on, anything else that you want to share? I do want to talk about the Pete Hegseth thing though. So, they're saying, oh, the flu shot's not required anymore. What took so long? He's been in this position like over a year, right? What took so long? And not only that, but you were sharing with me that just because they're claiming that it's not required anymore doesn't mean that they don't have different ways to make sure that people get manipulated, the military get manipulated and forced into it. Can you share what you mean by that?
Well, I was told while I was at the meeting of duty to disobey, there was a boy in South Korea, and he had early leave to come home to America. And they said the only way you can get leave is go ahead and take the booster COVID shot. Well, he didn't wake up the next morning. So this is what we're talking about. And folks, I've been with a lot of these movements, and they're always talking about, well, at least it's not mandatory. If the bottle, do you leave a bottle of arsenic in a kindergarten room? No, you don't. Mandatory means nothing.
Yeah. Goes back to what I said too. It means nothing because, they're making it's a headline. This goes back to what we've been saying about the headlines. It's like they give this false push. And you're really the one that kind of helped me to see it on a whole nother level, because you were talking about the food babe being on Fox so many times and her pushing different things. Oh, look at us. We're going to get red dye, whatever out and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, they're just renaming it. It's still going to be.
I still buy Skittles. Okay. I still buy Skittles. and Michelle, and we talked about this before we came on here. Some of the people are in Maha, well, at least we won this. No, you didn't win anything, because I'm going to give you a perfect example of how they didn't win. So
right,
the farm bill is put on, and it lasts 5 years. So when they redo a farm bill for the government, that farm bill lasts 5 years. So the Maha people all threw a fit. They all jumped up and down Washington. Great job for them, by the way, actually. And they got the pesticide immunity completely removed out of the farm bill, which is awesome. It's actually really, really, really good. But then President Trump does an executive order, and then the Supreme Court votes 7-2.
Well, unpack it completely. So Trump did an executive order, which did what?
It made glyphosate a national security issue, and it's under the Wars Act, and you can't get rid of it. So yeah. And then
yeah.
The Bayer Monsanto liability shield, the Supreme Court sided with Bayer Monsanto. So they jump up and down and they say they won. No, you didn't win, because all that stuff is still there. It's all done, and you spend all your energy. And I just wish I could get all the energy, and that's what I want to do. In my farm plan, if we start paying off farms and start building this system, and then we just build a whole entire system outside this government, ignore the government, and let's move forward. That's the name of the game.
There you go. All right. You said you got some information about Cargill packing plants. What happened?
So the word is, folks, that Cargill is gone to 4 days of slaughtering, not 5 days. So they've slowed down their slaughtering process. And the reason they've done this is because, folks, I'm sure that by now you've been in the grocery store and you've seen the price of steak, hamburger, brisket, all those things. It's very, very high. The American public has come to a place where it's like, time out. I just can't do this anymore. I can't pay this price. So Cargill's cutting back on processing because they know the American people are not paying this price anymore. And so they're cutting back, and that's what they do. They balance this out to try to figure this, to get this, because they know that means that Americans not consuming as much beef because it's just too expensive.
Okay. That's interesting. Do you think also they could be trying to kind of like stage a shortage by doing that. I wondered if that was the flip side of it as well. You're saying that it's really just they know that the need's not there, but kind of supply and demand. But I'm wondering if it's more of a staging a shortage, so to speak, saying, oh, look, we just can't produce enough meat in our country for the demand. And so we're going to have to go to lab grown, you know.
Well, here's the thing about the way futures and processing works. You know, they didn't wake up yesterday and say, okay, we're going to butcher this cow and ship it to Walmart. You know, they're long ways out, months and months and months and months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but what you have to understand is I never would get in the fight with Bayer and Monsanto. Brian Massard would not get in the fight against JBS and the four big packers, and I wouldn't either. And if you're a real farmer and know really what's going on, you'll realize that Walmart, Costco, and Kroger's, and a few of the other heavy hitters in the grocery industry, they are the ones that control the market. And Walmart knows what it's. Walmart called Cargill up and said, hey, beef sales are off. We're going to cut back on buying. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't Cargill. Walmart called them up and said, hey, we'll cut back. We'll use beef. And I guarantee the next conversation, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll drop the beef price down. That'll get people to go in the store. And it's called a lead item, folks. They'll sell a package of pork chops, something about cheaper to get you go in, because they're going to get you to go buy a $9 bag Doritos and Oreos.
Yeah. Okay. So Terry is asking, is Steve telling us that we have absolutely nobody on our side in Washington? No, that's not at all what he said.
I'm not saying. I'm saying that the people that are on our side they're not empowered to make great change, and that you can't. Mm-hmm. And the people that are in the legislative power, that's the ones that don't. There are good people in there. I'm just saying we're not going to legislate our way out of this. We must do this ourselves. Let me just give it this way. Look, I'm not endorsing the Amish religion. I'm not endorsing, the way that, but what I'm saying is the Amish have a really good culture, and their culture is they tend to their own people, and they grow their own food, and they ignore the government. And that's where we need to head. That's what my farm plan will do. I plan to pay off as many farms and ranches as possible, but it's $700 billion, folks. If you want to make an impact and you want to do a reformation in this country, it's a $700 billion price tag. Now, if you say in your mind, or you say out loud, well, golly gee, I only have $1. Well, why don't you get on board? Maybe your role is to share with 100 people, then maybe those 100 would have money. That's the issue. If we don't fix this problem with agriculture, there's nothing else, because everything else collapses without agriculture.
Oh, sure. Well, you need food. Laurel Flower says, in the former days, no kid went to the pediatrician. I didn't go to the pediatrician as a kid, and I think I'm about as healthy as it gets, really, especially through all the years. I was fine. When I got sick, when I had an aunt take me to the doctor when I was in high school to get the flu shot, and I got the flu and got sick as a dog. So that's the only time I remember getting sick, except for when I was really young. And my grandmother gave me Robitussin and Formula 44D. I remember that. And so, but I didn't go to a doctor. Okay. Wow. Asiago says, can't wait to get Malone's new book so I can read Steve's information. That's what I'm most interested in. Thanks, Steve. We need Steve's boot camp. I love it. Maybe we'll do Michelle and Steve's boot camp right after Godly Granny's boot camp, a 3-day event. That's funny, Asiago. Okay. So, all right. Well, let's keep going. So, we've got a guy. I thought this was crazy. So there's this man, and he says, hey, look, I'm going to have to face court over the Epstein files before anyone that's actually in the Epstein files. Let's take a listen to his story and what's going on, and we'll weigh in after.
In 38 days, I become the first American man facing court over the Epstein files than anyone actually in the files. My crime, I organized an Epstein files egg hunt on Easter all across Manhattan to expose the Epstein class. Every day leading up to my court date, I'm gonna open up a new egg with a name and a file. Today we open the second egg. Andrew Farkas. We're going to scan the QR code. I hope that this new year marks great health, new chapters, peace, and prosperity for you. You are the one of the blessings in my life, and I cherish our friendship. To Jeffrey Epstein from Andrew Farkas, 2010. Andrew exchanged over 2,000 emails with Jeffrey Epstein in a friendship that lasted 15 years. Andrew Farkas is the founder, chair, and CEO of Island Capital and has built a real estate empire in New York and is referred to as the legend of real estate. His family built the department store chain Alexander's. He co-owned American Yacht Harbor with Jeffrey Epstein, which is a marina in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Alexander is a very avid boater and yacht enthusiast. 4 months after the explosive allegation and charge of underage sex trafficking in 2006, Farkas offered Epstein the deal to co-own American Yacht Harbor. Andrew Farkas visited Jeffrey Epstein while he was serving his first prison sentence. This email from Jeffrey Epstein to Farkas in 2008. Great seeing you. Sorry it was such a schlep. Andrew hid his relationship from his Island Capital Group board members. Andrew Farkas was also a huge political benefactor of former Governor Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo once served as vice president of Island Capital Group when he was out of office. Farkas also served as the campaign treasurer to Andrew Cuomo during his campaigns. More recently, in Cuomo's mayoral campaign, Farkas donated $250,000 to an anti-Zora Mamdani PAC. Island Capital has over $4 billion of assets under management through a variety of real estate and special situation strategies. They are headquartered 5th Avenue in New York, and they have several other locations, serving Texas, in Greenville, South Carolina, and in Nashville, Tennessee. You want to let them know how you feel about the fact that Andrew Farkas had such a close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and has paid no price? You can let them know there. Andrew Farkas faces no court, yet I do.
Okay, so as we all know, and we're very aware, there's been no justice when it comes to whatever was going on with Epstein and his cronies, apparently, at least open in the open, out in the open, we don't know of anything. Steve, you want to add anything?
Yes, I do. And I want to talk about, it's back to what we say. Sometimes I believe that as believers that we get caught up into saying, well, nothing's ever going to happen to them. Mm-hmm. Nothing's ever going to happen to them. Nothing's ever going to happen to them. And we get caught up, and that what we say is death, but it gets life to them. Okay?
Yeah.
So here's the issue. It is the law of reciprocity true? The law of reciprocity is whatever man sows, that's what he reaps. Okay? So we just need them to reap what they've sowed. And let the Creator, this can be done in a short period of time as we as believers say out loud, I don't approve of this. God, I know you don't. I'm asking you to do something quickly. There's a verse in Job says, I curse the abode of the wicked. Job says, I curse the abode of the wicked. That means where he lives and everything he touches. That's the verse. Job, good job.
That's right. All right, let's listen to Matt the welder. He's talking about what's going on with cattle in Florida. Let's listen.
The cattle are losing their teeth, and you won't believe why. They blame the fluoride pollution from the phosphate industry in Polk County. Between 1953 and 1964, an estimated 150,000 acres of cattle land were abandoned, and 25,000 acres of citrus groves were destroyed. Between 1953 and 1960, the cattle population in Polk County dropped by 30,000 head. It was around 1953 when ranchers in Polk County noticed a change in their cattle. They started to look like they were starving, their legs were deformed, and they were losing teeth. According to a former president of the Polk County Cattlemen's Association, his cattle at the time were diagnosed with mass fluoride poisoning by the veterinarian. When you look at the permit for Mosaic's New Wales plant, you'll see any unlined cooling pond is allowed to have a zone of discharge for the following pollutants: cadmium, fluoride, arsenic, radium. Citrus trees in Polk County were dying long before citrus greening ever came to the state of Florida. The high temperature from processing phosphate ore causes fluorine and fluorides to enter the atmosphere, which are then scattered by wind onto the groves and the grazing land. Symptoms of fluorosis in citrus trees include brown leaves that look like they've been burned, dropping fruit. There's our Mosaic no trespassing sign again. Look at the pine trees. They're all dead or dying. Have you ever wondered where the fluoride in your drinking water comes from? It's a byproduct of Mosaic's fertilizer production. When they dump sulfuric acid on the phosphate ore, one of the byproducts is fluorosilicic acid, which is later added to municipal drinking water. No other candidate or bureaucrat in the state of Florida will tell you any of this, either because they don't know or they attend the phosphate political committee out there in Polk County every October. I'm running for Ag Commissioner in 2026. When I become Florida's next Agriculture Commissioner, we're going to make sure we educate our farmers and ranchers that are located near the phosphate processing plants.
Wow. All right. I don't see how anybody these days could think that fluoride's a good thing, but many do. There's so many documentaries, so much information out there, and it just seems like so many still buy into the lie that the fluoride's good. It's crazy.
Well, Michelle, when I was in Washington, D.C., so they put us on panels, like there's 3 or 4 of you on stage, and they divided up. Well, they put me on stage with a really heavy hitting doctor on insects and stuff like that. And then they had the girl next to me was a toxicologist, and she said that God had called her to show all these toxicology reports on all these endocrine disruptors. Now, what was interesting is, like, she's going through all this stuff scientifically in the blood and stuff like that. And I mean, Colgate's getting a big lawsuit right now and all this, and she's going through all this stuff, right? You know, and then so she finished, they let me talk, and I said, well, I can't even spell endocrine, but I can tell you this, that the fact of the matter is, you know, in the wilderness, like those pine trees you see there, you know, the wilderness has a way, creation has a way that it shows you things are out of order. See, I have no honeybees. And the endocrine disruptors that are happening with 5G, 6G's coming, all this stuff, fluoride. And listen, how many people don't know this anymore? I mean, is there anybody left in America that doesn't know this? I mean, I'm just saying that, like, who doesn't know this?
I know, it's crazy. Okay, so Black Diamond 7708 says, I just love Steve and his wife for sharing with us. Bless you, Michelle, for bringing Steve to us. Wilma Flintstone says, thank you for giving Matt the welder recognition. He is running for Florida Ag Commissioner. He is a very popular grassroots candidate, and they're doing everything they can to be able to keep him from winning. They've even passed something, I think it wasn't it signed by DeSantis, I want to say, where now they're making you on the ballot have your full name or your name. And so his last name's like Taylor. And so people may not know that he's Matt the welder, but because they know that name, but they're going to make the ballot say Matt Taylor or Matthew Taylor. Wilma, just so you know, I actually reached out to him a couple of weeks ago through Instagram. Now, I know that things can kind of be crazy with Instagram where it goes into a weird folder. That's what happened with Cindy Jenkins, who was on the show. There was a delay for a few weeks because I didn't hear from her because she didn't see my message. I reached out to Matt the welder through Instagram. I think I even went to his website. I have not heard back. I'm trying to get him on the show. And so, Wilma, if you know someone, tell them. Call me, Matt. Okay, so I'm trying to help him. And so, because he's amazing and he's calling out all different kinds of corruption that's going on down there. And I know, Steve, you follow him as well and what's going on and what he's teaching. I mean, he's another one I think is a really great guy trying to make a big difference. And they are doing everything they can to quiet his voice. And God willing, I just pray that, you know, the real winner will be announced as the real winner. And so, but there is some coordinated stuff going on against him, and he goes by Matt the welder, and he's on Facebook and he's on Instagram. So if y'all are on those platforms, make sure you follow him. Okay. Anything you want to add to that?
Well, I actually know a guy that knows him, so I'll reach out to him. I'm everywhere, Michelle. I'm everywhere.
Of course you do. I didn't doubt it for a second.
I want to share with your viewers that, listen, there's always a way. Seed Time and Harvest is always going to be. So go to ootw3d.org. Go in there. We'll have the huge plan up. We'll start showing, but basically it's this simple, folks. We've got a little protocol we're about to finish up tonight on what farms, like we are not going to pay off GMO Roundup ready crops. Anybody who's farming that, they are not going to get paid off. These will be farms that grow real food for real people.
That's so good. Thank you so much, Steve. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Such a great visit with Steve. Lots of information. Okay, so this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, what they're doing in the military while they're also letting in all these different people. Take a look at what's going on in Rome, Italy. You ever thought about going to Rome? You know, just going around for a couple of weeks, and great place to travel and see the sights. Well, you might want to think again. Let's take a look.
Look at this. Look at the fucking state of the city. This is Rome, guys.
Like the Casbah.
This looks like in Bangladesh or something. Look at this, guys. Look at the state of this place. Look at this, guys. This is Rome. This is Europe. Does this look like Europe to you? I don't see a single Italian here, guys. I am more Italian than any of these people. Look at this.
Occhio amico mio, perché noi qua non siamo ben visti, quindi stiamo sempre attenti, di occhi aperti.
Sì.
È la strada molto pericolosa dove spacciano e vendono roba falsa.
Saying that the street is dangerous.
Okay, we're seeing that even here within the United States, many communities in Texas. We know there's all kinds of stuff going on in New York, New Jersey. It's crazy. So we'll see what happens. All right. At the beginning of the show, I told you that, you know, we have the song that we open now called Love Never Dies. And we have, you know, obviously that's just a little snippet, but the song is a whole song and y'all have never heard it. So I wanted a lyric video so that way you could see the words. And so it just takes time finding the right person. And it turns out there's somebody that specializes in that. And so we got him to do a video and it's beautiful. And so we're going to leave you today with the full version to Love Never Dies. And we'll see you right here tomorrow with Jack and Margie next time on the Michelle Moore Show.
In a world full of darkness, I found my light. With Jesus by my side, I conquer every fight. Walking in faith, I won't be afraid. His love surrounds me, my fears will fade. Joyful and grateful for all that I receive. Hope is my anchor, love is my guide. With Jesus I'll overcome, I'll never hide. A warrior of strength, in His name I rise. In a world of chaos, His love never dies. With gratitude in my heart, I see the beauty around. Through trials and tribulations, His grace I found. No war can defeat me, His power within. A beacon of hope amidst the world's din. If I'm wavering faith, I'll stand tall. Hope is my anchor, love is my guide. With Jesus I'll overcome, I'll never hide. A warrior of strength, in His name I'll rise. In a world of chaos, His love never dies. Is my anchor, love is my guide. With Jesus I'll overcome, I'll never hide. A warrior of strength, in His name I'll rise. In a world of chaos, His love never dies. Hope is my anchor, love is my guide. With Jesus I'll overcome, I'll never hide. A warrior of strength, in His name I'll rise. In a world of chaos, His love never dies.
Hi, I'm Linda Bamber Olson, the inventor of the Wave Watch, the world's first frequency therapy watch. It features over 1,100 targeted frequencies combined into 150 playlists for ease of use. These sounds are acoustical and they move through your body, through your skin and your bones. You don't necessarily have to hear it. As each frequency goes through, it can be realigning, revitalizing, reconnecting, and even rebalancing your body all the way to the cellular level. So that's why we have so many testimonies for aches, ADD and ADHD, allergies, colds and flu, dental, emotions, headaches, joints, kidney stones, nerves, organs, skin health, swelling, tremors, vagus nerve, and so many more. Use this code for $100 off when you purchase the Wave Watch. Thanks for learning about frequencies, using them, and supporting the Wave Watch.
Ever read the ingredients on your everyday products and think, wait, is this shampoo or a science experiment? If your lotion needs a translator, a lab coat, and a warning label, it might be time for a change. Godly Granny products are made with purpose, love, and ingredients you can actually recognize. No mystery chemicals, no toxins, just clean, simple goodness. The way Granny would have wanted, because your skincare shouldn't require a chemistry degree. From shampoo, lotion, skincare, and all natural health remedies, Godly Granny has everything your family needs. It's no wonder we have over 1,200 5-star reviews from our amazing customers to prove it. Join the families just like yours who've switched to Godly Granny. Visit godlygranny.com and sign up for our emails to receive a special discount code for 10% off your first order, plus exclusive updates and information on newly released products.
Universal Coin and Bullion is my partner for gold, silver, rare coins, and precious metal IRAs. For over 30 years, they've helped more than 500,000 customers and completed over $2.6 billion in precious metals transactions. They're offering callers 2 1-ounce American Silver Eagles and a 1/10-ounce American Gold Eagle at actual dealer cost. Call Universal Coin and Bullion today.
For Michelle's social media links, go to michellemooreshow.com.